Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Monday Motivation. I'm your host, Daniel Krakowski, joined as always by Goran Vasevich.
What's going on, everybody?
And today we're also joined by
Julian Scott, the new kid on the block.
Oh,
killing the game, ready to go.
You know, so far, first podcast, the best response by far out of anybody that we had.
Emron, take notes.
Emron. Who else? Dario. Anyways.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this one.
Anyways, no more Dario bashing.
So, what we wanted to talk about today, pretty simply, are the things that you can easily control to get a better result out of any endeavor that you're undertaking right now.
Right, and I think our discussion that led prior to this podcast was hey, what is going to be our topic? And we talked about, timeliness or being on time. And you talked about problem solving or, having lack thereof or, the capability to problem solve. So we just kind of came to a general consensus of what can one person do if you had no talent, nothing, no money, nothing. What can you do immediately right now to improve your situation? And you reminded me of the quote or the
list, right?
The list.
Yeah.
The list. Do you want me to read the list? The 10 things that require zero talent.
Roll them off. I got no talent. What can I do?
You ready? Julian, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
He's ready. First one is the best one. Being on time. One.
Amen.
Number 2, work ethic.
That's a good one.
Number 3, effort.
Oh, yeah. Seems like number 2, but...
Number 4, body language. Number 5, energy. Number 6, attitude. Number 7, passion. Number 8, being coachable. Number 9, doing extra. And the last but not least, being prepared is the number 10 of the 10 things that require zero talent that you can do right now if you don't got the right quote-unquote talent, the not, quote-unquote enough money in your pocket, but you can take immediate action and start working on these things.
I'd rather have someone who has all of those qualities and isn't very smart than have someone who's smart and doesn't do any of those things.
Right.
I think number 1 you mentioned is being on time. That's a huge one.
People, come on. When I didn't have anything, when I had zero anything, when I even didn't know English, I knew how to tell time and knew that if I needed to be somewhere at 1 p.m., I was there at 12, scoping everything out and making sure that I'm going to be there.
Fighting off the competition.
At the right time. Right. So really showing up on time and, as the saying goes, really it's early is on time is late. And then if you're late, don't even bother showing up.
I think there's some lines, too, where I think for a lot of people culturally being on time is different. I know a lot of my friends are Eastern European, and,
Eastern European?
They'll call you, they're like, I'm 5 minutes away, and then they're there, an hour later, and it's like, dude, come on. So you gotta, in fact, I have a friend named Andre, and we call it Andre time.
Andre time.
And I never understood Andre time until I was driving with him, and he's talking to his friend. He's like, yep, I'm just turning on the street right now. And we still hadn't left his house.
There are so many memes about, oh yeah, I'm in my car, and the guy's still like playing a video game or something. But I think not to generalize anyone.
I love you, Andre, by the way.
One people or where you come from. I've seen a lot of different people, ages, sexes, races, exhibit these 10 qualities. And I was just like, wow, this person has it. And when you revisit their, them, 5 years online, you can see how those traits and those attributes really contributed to that overall success because all of them add up.
Here's the thing you got to keep in mind, too. I think to people who are generally late, it doesn't matter to them if someone else is late for what they're doing, for the most part. But at least half of the world is going to take it as a personal sign of disrespect, that you don't respect their time, that you think your time is more important than theirs.
Yeah, or more valuable.
Right, and that's
no
an insult. That's not a good way to do business.
You can't get back that 10 minutes, right?
Right.
And, the 10 minutes that it takes us to do this podcast, we take our time to deliver this product to everybody else that wants to listen to. So we can't redo it or the tape is rolling. We're getting it done. So we've committed to it and we're being respectful. So just as, if we're like, hey, let's do the podcast at 4:00 or 3:00, it's important for everybody to show up on time because it matters.
Right, especially the busier the person, right? If Goran's a great example of this. Goran's working, hustling every single hour of every single day. Yeah.
Am I 10xing or is it 20xing?
I don't even think it's in the double digits. I think you're 100xing at minimum.
Triple digits.
At minimum.
So, I know it. First one in, last one out.
Well, I think that we should add consistency to that list.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that's let me see if there's a being doing extra work ethic. Okay, yeah. We can do consistency because
you have to be consistent to be successful.
Yeah, if you do all those 10 things, today, and you screw up on 5 or all 10 the next day, it ain't gonna happen. If you can add that consistency, apply it over and over again. Because how many people do you know that they do show up on time, kind of, when they want to, when it's convenient, but then the other times they kind of fall off. And that's where you kind of notice, or you see who the people that are really 100% committed.
And it takes discipline. It takes discipline to stay consistent. So,
yeah, you got to, that's where the effort, hard work, that whole system comes into play too. You can, say you're 50% more efficient than somebody else because they're smarter, they have more talent, whatever it is. If you work twice as much as them, you're still going to outpace them, right? At the end of the day, your bottom line is still going to be better. And it's really easy to, even when you're working, not be working. You know what I'm saying? Where you're at the office and you're looking at properties and then you kind of daydream and you're looking at a bunch of unrelated crap on the MLS or whatever it is. It's like,
right, you get off task easily. That's
why they have dialers, right?
There's so many distractions, and even right now, yes, I'm looking at my phone, but it's related to our podcast. But still, it's a distraction. It's a distraction for you.
He's looking at pictures of himself on his phone. I can tell.
And Daniel doesn't typically take his phone in the podcast room. That's why he's the host, and he dedicates himself. Even if it's 10, 20, 30 minutes, he's 100% into it. That's what you have to deliver such a great result, which is why he is, like I said, the host.
And it's
Dan the man.
It's true, though. I mean, how many times, when you're talking about focus, when you're talking about commitment, how many times have you been on a meeting or a date with some girl and she's looking at her phone every time she gets a text message?
Yep.
I'm like, one of the important things to me, and it was actually said about Bill Clinton, so whatever people's opinions are of him doesn't really matter. But he has a unique ability when he meets somebody to make them feel like they're the only person in the world and the most important person.
And that matters because people look at that.
People do.
Yeah.
I think, I'm pretty sure it was a Tony Robbins book, but he was meeting with, some foreign leader or whatnot, and they were engaged in a conversation, and sure enough, the phone rang. And if my phone rings right now, everyone's natural reaction is, they look at me and they're like, oh, are you going to pick it up so you can answer? But the point of the story was, he was like, that's okay. Let it ring. I'm engaged with you in this conversation. You're more important. You're my main focus. And that I think, says a lot to the other person that's, with you, that you're like, hey, I'm not going to pause that phone call and put you in second place because we are in the midst of this conversation. I want to give you my, full 100%, of my attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's I think we've all had the phone picked up on us too, and it's ringing for somebody. You know that you're in second place to this and second importance to this person at the moment.
I hate it, and I've been guilty of it. And sometimes I even preface a meeting. I'm like, listen, I apologize because I'm probably going to have to pick up a phone. I'm expecting an important phone call. But I just want to let you know if it does ring, no disrespect, I just got to pick it up. And a lot of people are like, okay, you told me about it beforehand. I feel a little bit better about it. But at the same time, I'm still like, and I only do it if it's, again, if it's a pressing matter.
Right.
But a lot of times I see people like, at the bank or at the restaurant, they're trying to conduct business with the other person, and they're picking up the phone. They're disrespecting them and everybody else waiting to get service
like,
as well.
What'd she say?
That's bad business.
Right.
What'd you say? No, you didn't.
Right.
Come on.
It makes to me, makes no sense. Plus, like I said, it's a huge sign of disrespect, to the person that you're actually, engaged in right then and there.
Right. And all those things are very simple, and we all know that we should do them. But for some reason, and Gary Vee is a huge proponent of this. And
Gary Vee.
Shout out Gary Vee. But
At Gary Vee.
He mentions all the time where he's like, hey, I laid out this amazing system for everybody. Do this, and you will be 5 times more successful than you are right now. And then he's talking to a room of 200 people, and he's like, but I already know only 3 of you are going to do it because you're all a bunch of losers.
Right, because I asked him, like, what? Aren't you afraid that people are just going to replicate everything you're doing? You're not going to be able to sell. You're not going to be able to produce. You're not going to be able to be successful. He's like, no, I'm not afraid because I know most of this stuff is going to fall on deaf ears, and no one's going to really take the action, or they're not going to have the courage to proceed forward. And I think a lot of those things people don't do because they think, oh, well, for me to be super successful in any one thing, and specifically in real estate, that you have to have some kind of a linguistic talent. When a lot of people get into real estate, like, hey, it's one of the easiest barrier to entry to any kind of profession where you can make a substantial amount of money.
That's very true. The number of knuckleheads that I deal with on a regular basis is amazing to me all the time. But one real amazing thing that he mentioned, going back to Gary Vee for a second, just kind of tying it down here, is he had a point where he goes just about the importance of execution, where he says a lot of people who are in the business world think that they have a great idea, and they think that their great idea of how they're going to operate and run their business is going to be what's going to carry them through to the next level. And he goes, what a lot of people don't know is that Uber existed before Uber existed. There was another company that came out 3 years before, did exactly what Uber was doing. The idea was great. The idea was there, and it remains great today. What they lacked was the execution. So the idea is okay. The other, the 3 of us could probably figure out 10 great ideas right now and nail them in 10 minutes. 10 things that we need. But that's not important.
Yeah.
What's important is how it's executed. The person-to-person side is really important. And as technology continues to expand, as Google reviews, as Facebook reviews, as everyone's more accessible, it's putting us back into that kind of small town mentality where the way that you treat someone is really, really important. Because if you treat someone poorly, everyone gets to know about it. Yeah. Same thing, if you treat them well, everyone gets to know about it. So going back to the personal side, going back to those basics of business and the things that you can control, the being on time, the being respectful, the making people feel important, I think is getting more and more important than ever.
Body language. Like
body
right now,
what
am I doing?
Fist pumping.
That's right. Like extreme
Jersey
body
Shore
language
over
right
here.
now.
Yeah. But I think that these very simple things are what make the biggest difference. I think we owe Title Smart some royalties for that now. Right? It's the little things that make a big difference is their slogan.
Don't worry, I'll bleep it out.
Shout out Title Smart.
Title Smart.
No.
Yeah, I mean, did you have anything else to say?
I think that's great. I think that's plenty that we covered today. Just, out there, be mindful of the way that you're presenting yourself to the rest of the world and how people are going to look at, people appreciate the effort. People appreciate you taking the time out to make them your priority. So make sure that you do that whenever possible.
Right on. And special shout out and thank you to Julian for stopping by and sharing his 2 cents. I'm sure we'll see him again.
I'm going to give you 2 more next time.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.